Dave, I don't think you can actually comprehend how amazing an adventure motorcycle made by Eric Buell himself would be. How can I explain this to you better? Just imagine your favorite Barbie, yeah? And imagine that it's not made by a toy company and it's made by NASA. What do you mean, what's NASA? Welcome back to Long Way Home, everyone. The place where getting your motorcycle news is easier than figuring out the helmet communicator market, but not by much. 10 brand new bikes is what Buell Motorcycles is planning to bring to market in the next 3 years, and these include a touring and a dedicated adventure one. However, not all is as it seems. Stick around while we see what the new Buell brand has in store for us. Eric Buell is a superstar in the motorcycling world, although not a lot has been heard from him in the past few years. He's the guy that came up with the idea of getting rid of the fuel tank and putting all of that fuel in the frame of the bike because the weight distribution would just be better. He also mounted the brake rotors on the outside of the rim because by doing that, he could make the wheels lighter. This and a lot more engineering improvements were pioneered by him because he was a racer. Eric Buell didn't want to have the biggest selling motorcycle company on the planet, the most profitable one. He wanted to race and have the best bike possible for doing that. But he needed money, so he convinced Harley to buy a majority stake in Buell. All was good for quite a long time. Eric headed up Harley's racing division, was free to come up with whatever bike concept he wanted, but thanks to the 2008 financial crisis, Harley decided to close down Buell. Not sell it, close it down. They owned MV Agusta at that time as well, but that was worthy to be sold. Eric then started the Eric Buell Racing brand, or EBR. He launched 3 different bikes, all based on the 1190 platform that was close to being released when Harley closed up, an 1190 RR Racer, 1190 RX Superbike, and then later an 1190 SX Super Naked. With poor superbike sales, Buell needed cash, and in 2013, Indian company Hero Motor Corp bought 49% of EBR. Everything should have been smooth sailing from here onwards. You have a brilliant, dedicated engineer, financial backing from a large company, but 2 years later, in 2015, EBR was being liquidated. The company that was brought in to handle this was Liquid Asset Partners, the same guys which Harley had tasked with selling off the Buell assets when it closed down. The R&D and production parts of EBR were sold off, Liquid Asset Partners kept the rest, and in 2020, they bought the rights to the Buell Motorcycles name, which was still held by Harley. And now, back to the land of today, they have very big plans for the motorcycle market, 10 new bikes by the end of 2024. Except, they're not really new. Their CEO put out a press release saying that Buell is back. We are excited to bring Buell back with this awesome assortment of superbikes and performance motorcycles. The first bike they want to bring out is the 1190 RX Superbike. It's got 185 horsepower and comes with all the great innovations that Eric Buell put into the original 1190 platform, like the fuel in the frame and the weird brake rotors for lighter wheels. But hold on, if this bike was initially created back in 2007, more than 13 years ago, how can it compete with today's superbikes? Well, that was the whole genius of Eric Buell. The 1190 RX weighs just 190 kilograms wet, while the latest Ducati Panigale V4 is 4 kilograms fatter, and that is just a liter bike. The new Buell brand will most probably have to update its electronics, engine for emission specs, but as long as they don't mess with Eric's engineering, they should come up with a pretty good bike. There will also be a naked version, the 1190 SX, basically the RX but stripped of its bodywork, and the newcomer will be a super touring model. Basically again, the RX, the one all of these variations have been inspired from, but with a touring kit on it so you can ride it comfortably for longer distances. Buell Motorcycles is also promising a dedicated adventure supermodel planned for 2023, but hasn't shared any details yet. The sad part in all of this, if you haven't figured it out by now, is that the man behind the scenes, Eric Buell, is not involved whatsoever in this latest reincarnation of Buell motorcycles. After their initial announcement, he went on to clarifying this, saying that I'm not involved with the EBR or Buell brands, which are owned by the people from LAP of Michigan. Where they will go will be seen, and hopefully it's all good, but I have no part in it at this time. I would appreciate it if LAP would stop using my personal name. So basically, what's happening here is that Liquid Asset Partners is using Buell's name to sell some motorcycles engineered by him more than a decade ago, with the promise that others will be on the way. I highly doubt this will ever get off the ground. Their website doesn't even work, and if they ever do put something out, it will be exciting to see an Eric Buell bike with new age electronics on it, but when they inevitably close down, you, as the rider, will be stuck with something which will have no dealer network and no place to get parts. Exciting, but stupid, and I guess that is the exact definition of exciting. Nonetheless, I would love to hear your take on this. Is a bike from Buell Motorcycles, Liquid Asset Partners, but which still has Eric Buell's innovation from decades ago, something you would like to see updated in 2021? Let us know in the comments below, I would love to read them. Well, that's the show for today, everyone. If you've enjoyed it, give it a big thumbs up, and if you think you've learned something new, consider subscribing or becoming one of our patrons to help us make more of these shows. Cheers, and I'll see you on the next one.